Let's begin by understanding what we mean by Information Systems Audit. An IS audit is essentially the process of evaluating an organization's information systems, their controls, and the overall governance and risk management framework that supports them. It involves the formal examination and testing of systems to determine whether they comply with laws, regulations, policies, and contractual obligations, and whether they align with industry standards and governance requirements. Through IS auditing, we also assess whether data maintains the right level of confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and whether IT operations are carried out efficiently and effectively to support business objectives. In simple terms, IS auditing helps us ensure that technology is not only secure and reliable, but also delivering value to the organization in a controlled and compliant manner. This slide shows the three key phases of the audit process: planning, fieldwork, documentation, and reporting, follow-up. In the planning phase, we define the audit's objectives, scope, and risks. For example, when auditing a bank's mobile app, we'd focus on controls around user authentication and transaction security. During fieldwork, we gather evidence and test controls, like reviewing access logs, testing data backups, or running analytics to spot unusual financial transactions. Finally, in the reporting and follow-up phase, we communicate findings and confirm that corrective actions have been taken. For instance, if weak passwords were identified, follow-up ensures stronger authentication is now in place. These three phases work together. Effective planning leads to focused testing, and strong reporting drives real improvement in system security and governance. CISA's audit and assurance standards tell us the required way to plan, perform, and report information systems audits. These standards help keep audits consistent and professional. For auditors, they set the minimum level of performance expected under CISA's Code of Ethics. For example, if you're auditing a bank's online platform, these standards guide you to stay independent, gather solid evidence, and report your findings fairly. For management, the standards show what they should expect from a quality audit. Think of a hospital that hires an IT auditor. Management can trust that the auditor will follow global best practices and deliver an objective report. The standards are grouped into three categories: general standards, cover ethics, skills, and independence. Performance standards explain how to plan and perform the audit. Reporting standard guide how to present results and recommendations. In short, these standards make sure every CISA professional works with integrity, consistency, and competence, no matter where or what system they audit. These standards are found inside IT Audit Framework (ITAF), available for free download at https://isaaca.org Resources, Frameworks, Standards, and Models. These are the general CISA audit and assurance standards, numbered 1001 to 1008. They form the foundation for every IS audit, no matter the organization or industry. Standard 1001, Audit Charter, reminds us that every audit function must have formal authority and purpose. For example, an internal audit department should have a charter approved by senior management to show independence. 1002, Organizational independence ensures auditors are free from influence. So, if you work in IT operations, you shouldn't audit systems you manage yourself. 1003, Audit objectivity requires us to make conclusions based on facts, not opinions or pressure. 1004, Reasonable expectation means we plan and perform audits with realistic assurance. We can't guarantee zero risk, but we provide reasonable confidence. 1005, Due professional care reminds us to act carefully, using sound judgment and skill. For instance, testing user access controls properly rather than assuming they work. 1006, Proficiency means auditors must have the right skills and keep learning, like understanding cloud or cybersecurity risks as technology evolves. 7. Assertion refers to management's claims we test, such as all users have unique IDs, and 1008 Criteria are the benchmarks we use to evaluate performance, such as company policies, laws, or standards like ISO 27001. Together, these 8 general standards guide us to perform audits with authority, independence, objectivity, and professionalism. Next, we have the performance standards, which guide how an IS audit should be carried out, from planning to supervision and evidence gathering. 1201. Risk assessment in planning means every audit must start with identifying and analyzing risks. For example, when auditing a bank's online platform, we assess risks like unauthorized access or transaction errors before designing our tests. 1202. Audit scheduling ensures audits are properly prioritized and timed. A high-risk area like cybersecurity should be audited more frequently than a low-risk one such as printer usage. 1203. Engagement planning requires auditors to document objectives, scope, resources, and timelines. It's like a project plan for the audit. 1204. Performance and supervision means all audit work must be properly directed and reviewed. For instance, a senior auditor reviews test results prepared by a junior before finalizing conclusions. 1205. Evidence stresses that every conclusion must be supported by sufficient and reliable proof, such as system logs, screenshots, or data extracts. 1206. Using the work of other experts reminds us that if we rely on specialists, like a cybersecurity consultant, we must assess their competence and clearly state our level of reliance. Finally, 1207. Irregularity and illegal acts requires auditors to remain alert for signs of fraud or non-compliance. For example, discovering falsified access approvals, and report them through the proper channels. Together, these performance standards ensure our audit work is risk-focused, well-supervised, and evidence-based, leading to credible and professional results. The last group of ISACA standards are the reporting standards, which explain how audit results should be communicated and followed up. 1401. Reporting requires auditors to prepare clear, accurate, and complete reports that reflect the scope, objectives, findings, and recommendations of the audit. The goal is to communicate results in a way that management can act on. For example, if an audit of a payroll system shows that terminated employees still have active accounts, the report should clearly state the issue, its risk, and what action is recommended, such as automating HRIT user removals. Reports should also note any limitations or constraints, such as restricted access to data or incomplete evidence, so that stakeholders understand the context of the findings. 1402. Follow-up activities focuses on verifying that management has taken corrective actions. For instance, if you previously found weak password controls, a follow-up review might confirm that multi-factor authentication has now been implemented. Follow-ups ensure accountability and continuous improvement, showing that the audit added real value, not just findings on paper. Together, these standards ensure audit results are well communicated, transparent, and lead to measurable improvement across the organization. Now let's look at the ISACA's audit and assurance guidelines. While the standards tell us what we must do, the guidelines explain how we can do it. They give practical direction and examples to help auditors meet the standards correctly. As auditors, we're expected to consider these guidelines when planning and carrying out audits, and to use professional judgment in deciding how they apply to each situation. For example, if you're auditing a cloud environment for the first time, the guideline might suggest approaches for assessing data security or vendor risk. You still have flexibility to adapt the steps based on the organization's size, tools, and complexity. However, if you choose not to follow a specific guideline, you must be able to justify why. Maybe the risk was low, or an alternative method achieved the same assurance. In short, the guidelines help ensure our audits are consistent, practical, and risk-focused, while still allowing professional judgment. These guidelines are found inside IT Audit Framework, ITF, available for free download at https://www.isaca.org Resources, Frameworks, Standards, and Models. The CISA Code of Professional Ethics guides how every CISA professional should behave. It's the foundation of our credibility and trust. Let's go through each principle with real-life examples. Support proper governance and standards. We must promote and follow strong IS governance, controls, and risk practices. Example: an IT auditor helps a client align their cybersecurity practices with COBIT or ISO 27001, not just to pass an audit, but to genuinely strengthen their control environment. Perform duties with objectivity and due care. We must stay fair and professional, not letting personal bias affect our judgment. Example: if you're auditing an application developed by your friend's team, you must remain objective, evaluate it like any other system, and report findings honestly. Serve in stakeholders' best interest and maintain professionalism. We should act lawfully, with integrity, and not bring discredit to the profession. Example: refusing a token or gift from a vendor being audited shows independence and maintains professional credibility. Maintain privacy and confidentiality. Information obtained during audits must be protected and not used for personal benefit. Example: if an auditor discovers sensitive employee salary data, they cannot discuss it outside the audit or use it to negotiate their own pay elsewhere. In summary, ethics is not just about compliance, it's about trust. Following this code ensures organizations can rely on our judgment and professionalism at all times. The CISA Code of Professional Ethics also focuses on competence, transparency, and education, three qualities that make an information system auditor credible and trustworthy. Maintain competency. As professionals, we must keep our skills and knowledge up to date and only take on work we're qualified for. Example: if an auditor has little experience with cloud environments, they shouldn't lead a cloud security review without first getting the right training or support. Disclose all significant facts. We must report audit findings honestly and include any information that could change how those findings are understood. Example: if you discover that data used for testing was incomplete, you must tell management. Hiding that detail could lead to wrong conclusions about the system's reliability. Support professional education. We're expected to help others, clients, colleagues, and junior staff understand governance, risk, and controls better. Example: after an audit, an auditor organizes a short workshop for IT staff on access control best practices to prevent recurring issues. Finally, remember that the CISA exam often tests understanding of this code because CISA expects every certified auditor to live by these principles, not just know them. CISA's Information Technology Assurance Framework, ITAF, is the global standard that ensures IT audits are done professionally, consistently, and with high quality, no matter who performs them or where. Think of ITAF as a roadmap for information systems auditors. It tells us what to do through standards, how to do it well through guidelines, and gives us tools to make it practical. There are three main parts. Standards. These are mandatory. They define what every audit must include, such as maintaining ethics and independence, general $1,000, planning and gathering evidence, performance $1,200, and clear reporting and follow-up, reporting $1,400. Guidelines. These are best practices. Flexible methods auditors can apply depending on the situation. Tools and techniques. These include templates, checklists, and methodologies that make audits more structured and efficient. Example: when auditing a bank's disaster recovery process, an auditor can use ITAF's performance standards to plan the engagement, apply the guidelines to design test procedures, and use ITAF tools to document results and communicate findings clearly. In short, ITAF ensures that every CISA professional follows a global benchmark for audit quality, so results are reliable and comparable anywhere in the world. The Information Systems (IS) audit function can be set up in different ways. In some organizations, it's part of internal audit. In others, it works as an independent unit or joins financial and operational audits to review IT-related risks. No matter how it is structured, the key is that auditors must be independent and have clear authority. This is what the Audit Charter provides. The Audit Charter is a formal document approved by senior management or the Audit Committee. It explains the purpose of the IS audit function, the power and access auditors have, and who they report to. Example: in a telecom company, the IS audit team might need to review the billing system. Because their audit charter gives them full access rights, they can do this without needing permission from IT, keeping the audit fair and unbiased. If the IS audit work is done by an external firm, everything must be written in a contract, stating the scope, duties, and confidentiality rules. In short, the audit charter protects the auditor's independence and ensures they have the right support to give honest, reliable audit results. The IS audit function should always aim to add value to the business and support its goals. To do this, auditors must keep improving their skills and knowledge, especially as technology keeps changing. Example: an auditor who once focused on traditional servers must now understand cloud and cybersecurity risks to stay effective. Management should ensure auditors maintain technical competence through regular training and professional education. When planning audits, they should assign tasks based on each auditor's skills and experience. A yearly training plan should also align with the organization's technology direction, so the team stays prepared for new systems and risks. In short, continuous learning keeps information systems auditors relevant, capable, and valuable to the organization. Because skilled as audit experts are limited, many organizations now outsource part or all of their IS audit work. However, before hiring external auditors, several important factors must be considered. The organization should check for any restrictions on outsourcing and ensure the audit charter allows it. It's also important to confirm that outsourcing will not affect the objectives or independence of the overall audit. The chosen firm or expert must have the right qualifications, experience, and tools, like CATs, computer-assisted auditing techniques, to perform the job effectively. Example: a bank may hire an external cybersecurity auditor, but before doing so, it verifies their credentials, signs a non-disclosure agreement, and confirms that their methods align with CISA standards. In short, outsourcing can improve audit quality, but only if independence, competence, and confidentiality are well protected.